Hello guys, this is Tomasz and welcome to my channel. This channel should be focusing on the problems with the C# development, although some of it might be applicable to some other object-oriented languages as Java. I started up this channel because during my career I encountered loads of issues with the code that had to be fixed, and it caused issues in the long run, even though at that time people did not notice that. So let's start with the first one that I've encountered. Um, it's all about singular responsibility and how to split your classes correctly. And I've prepared a small program for this. This is a numbers detector in sentences. What it does, it takes a sentence hierarchy which contains paragraphs. I can show you this whole sentence hierarchy. So it contains paragraphs. Which contain list of sentences, and a list of sentences contains words. Now we pass this structure, this class, into the detector, which gives us a result which is like a paragraph ID, sentence ID, and the numbers that we detected in the sentence. We do some basic checks here just to see if anything is okay, and then we go over each paragraph here in this for loop, and we do another for loop for each sentence in the paragraph. We are trying to be clever, and we use hashing. So if we generate a hash for a sentence, and if we encounter another sentence which gives us the same hash, we will just skip detecting and just return the results. This is on here. So this is the detect method. And then in the end we return this. The GenerateHash is like we try to be creating our custom hash methods. It is here. It just gives you a hash for sentence by using the words. And then we go to the detect numbers in sentence. As you probably noticed, this is not a normal like English detector. This is actually a Czech. Maybe this class gave it away anyway. So why I chose this, it's not because I'm Czech. I'm not Czech, although I know the language quite well. It's because the Czech language has two ways of writing words from 20 onwards. One is the standard way, which the English people know very well, English-speaking people know very well, which is like 21. So you have like 21 means 21 basically, it's like 20 plus 1. The Czechs use the same way. 20 means 20, and then you have these words, these other 9 words, which determine the other part. Now the other way they do it is what mostly people speaking German language would know, is 1 and 20, so which is like here. So jeden means 1, a means and 20 means 20, so 1 and 20. So this is just to make it a bit more complicated and show how it works. It's not so straightforward. It's more straightforward to see the issues here. So basically, this detector just detects a word. If it finds 20, it checks whether it is 20, like the word is straight 20. If it is, that means that we are going the first way, the English way. So 21, 22, 23. If it detects that number that the word what set is part of a word, that means that we are going the other way because this is actually together. So they do it like this. And we'll try to detect it this way. Now the problem you can see in the unit tests. This is my detection for a single sentence. So I have to pass in the whole hierarchy with a single sentence, and then when I come out, I have to check that my this huge dictionary that I've returned, well, it will not be huge, but the structure is huge. It's like it should not be null. It should have one item because we have one paragraph. The paragraph should not be null. The paragraph should have one sentence result, and that result should not be null, and the numbers should be like, well, yeah. So this is for a single sentence. Now imagine this, which might be a real world example, which you want to try. And if you run this will fail, even though the values are correct. So if I run this, yeah, so this is failing. There are problems. So we encountered problem on this line because this says 25, but it's saying it is 20. So how would it go normally? We just need to go and basically detect why the 25 is not working. Basically do this test again. Now, this can take you some time. This is a simple program, so it will not take you long. And yeah, we can go about fixing this later on. But it shows that this is not like appropriate for this because you currently don't know why this issue is occurring. You know that it is occurring, but it can be in any place in this whole big class. So there is a good way to do to make it easier on yourself. There is a bad way to do it. Let's talk about the bad way. So both ways involve splitting this method into smaller chunks. So if you look at this is like your sentence hierarchy. You probably don't want to like mess with it much. Your result, you don't want to mess with this. You just want to get your result. The best things to split out would be this method and this method, because they do quite distinct things and they don't really belong in detector. Like GenerateHash definitely does not belong in the detector. This one is a sentence number detector. It doesn't deal with the whole structure, so this is another place where you can split it out quite easily. So let's talk about the GenerateHash first. So if we split it out, and we should split it out. So we split it out and we say okay, sentence. Why am I writing sentence? Sentence hash generator. Public. And let's move this out. Okay, so we move this out. One way how to do it, you make this public static. And then you can just say sentence, oh, whoa, I can't write properly. I promise this has never ever happened before. This is the first time that has ever happened. Okay, so let's do this. So let's put this one here. So we split this one out, and now we can do tests for it, which is really good. So we can test our hash generator, whether it's causing any problems. Yeah. Okay. So we can do our test. Generate hash. Returns value. Something like this. I don't want to complicate the names too much. I'm using XUnit for this, but that's just a personal choice. I was using NUnit before as well, and it was working fine, but I'm starting to like XUnit a bit more. So we have the generator. We have our simple sentence. And then we generate oh, we don't need this class at all. We need this. Okay. Now the results should be. I'm using shouldly here. I think you should too. It's quite good. It's test framework independent, so it's good. Test result should be blah get hash code multiply by 2. Yes, blah get hash code multiply by 2. Now if you run this, it has failed because it should be this, but it's 0. Okay, and this points to our problem that we had. We have somewhere in the code. Maybe you can show this in a program as well. So I've run this. If you run this, so the test would fail on the first error, but we have 2 errors in the code. And I didn't show the second one because obviously it failed on the first error. The second error is here. The number is 21, even though the sentence says 26. And this is because the hash generator is incorrect. So this doesn't return us the correct result. We expect it to be the word, but it's actually 0. And if you look at this, it's because of this I here. So if we increase it by 1, it should work. And now it is correct. So this gives us, splitting out gives us the benefit of easily spotting up issues. But let's talk about why I think this is wrong. This using public static is wrong here. So if you look at this number generate detector in sentences, if my unit test fails for this one, and it is still failing for this big one, I would say, because we haven't sorted out the first problem, we still don't know why is this caused. And if we go over it, we still need to understand how this GenerateHash function works, because it still may be source of problems. So we have not separated it fully. We have separated it on a design level, but we haven't really, the code level is not separated. You basically still, if you're going over the test or over the code, you need to understand how this GetGenerateHash thing works, because that can affect your code completely. So you have not split it out properly. So that's why I would highly recommend staying away from the statics in a public method, unless you are doing extensions, and basically do the dependency injector route, which is like this. Visual Studio can help me with this. Okay, so now I have an interface which I can inject here. Okay, and if I replace it with this basically means I don't particularly care how the generator does its hash in a unit test. I just care about the value, what it returns. So my unit test right now, I can change the unit test on the numbers generator sequence and say, okay, for this sentence return this hash, for this sentence return this hash. So I'm in control. I don't have to know how this is generated. So this gives us a bit better control over the tests. And the other thing, similarly, this, as we said, this should be split out. Again, you can do it both ways. The static and not static. Numbers in sequence. Or okay, so I have this one. And now I can move this one out. So let's do public. Let's extract an interface out of it. And do the same thing. Okay. So we have this. We need to inject this in a constructor. Come on. What did you do? Okay, move this one down here. Okay, so we have to set injecting. We are injecting this, and we need to basically do poor man's injection for now, which is this, and then slash generator, and the new numbers detector in sentences. Yeah, okay. So what is this class called now? Okay, this one. So this should now work. By changing the generator, we should no longer have problem with 26. So if we run this, we should have the last one correctly detected. Yes, it is 26, as it should be. But we still have problem with this one. So the other one is, again, as we said, we can do it in this one using this structure and this kind of thing. But because we split it out, we can do a much simpler test now. So we create a sentence and a detector. Again, you can do it the static way, but as I mentioned on the hash generator, please avoid static if you can. It's really bad idea unless you are doing extensions, or if you are using private static, which is fine because that's just something that you are not exposing outside. Okay, detector. And sentence. We said 25. This is what we should detect. So this is now a list of numbers. So result should not be null. Dot count should be 1, and then result at 0 should be 25. Now if we run this test, once I mark it as a test, of course, we can run it. Oh. Okay. Fix the test. So if we rerun all of these tests, I can't be bothered. There's still again. Okay. So we are injecting also here. We would normally use mocks, but I can't be bothered with mocks right now. If you are interested in mocks, I can show you mocks as well, how to do them correctly. Again, yes, the same thing here. Okay. Now we can run all the tests. So we're still, this one is failing because 25 is not detected correctly. And if you look at the code, we can see why. It's much easier to find it out it is because 25 is here. It is Piet. If you were to debug it, you would see that basically it skips this for the default. Actually, let's run it so we can see that I'm doing that correctly. So let's debug this. Go inside result. So yes, it is 20. The next word should be 5, but it's not. There is no default. So it's 0, and therefore it's 20. Okay. So the result is okay, but the result at 0 is not 25, but it's 20 because the Piet is not detected as it should be. So if you fix that, we change it to Piet, it will be now correct. And as you will see, all the tests will now succeed. Yay! But this way, it is much easier to find out what was going wrong. Now, one additional thing I would say about this, some people I've seen this, they would make in the original detector as it was before we split it out, they would make these methods public or internal, something like that, so that they can test the class partially. So if we were to put this back, but we would still make it as public, this method would still be public. This is very wrong. This breaks the encapsulation of your class, and anyone can start doing crazy things with this method, which basically breaks all your functionality. This should not be done that way. Basically, it is very, very wrong. If you see this, if you see yourself trying to do this, that means, so if I put this back as it was, maybe I can, maybe I cannot. Okay, let me open this class as it was working before. As it was before, so the original is here, so it was numbers detector in sentences. So if you see yourself trying to change this to be public, or this to be public, so that you can test partially your class, that is like 99% confirmation that you need to change, you need to extract this out. You need to change the structure of your code, because this is absolutely like breaking the encapsulation. It exposes your class. So please don't do it. Okay, thanks guys. This was my first video, so please comment, destroy me in comments, tell me I'm bad at this or I'm good at this. What should I improve? If you have any coding suggestions to look at, or if you have trouble with some code, please let me know. And yeah, I will try to make a video out of it as well. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.